Austin, what's up, dude?
How's it going?
Going pretty good, man. Or should I say backyard Austin? Which one do you like?
Just Austin works,
Okay,
but yeah,
I'm just
it
playing
started
with you.
in my backyard, so that's where it came from. I started on my back porch, and then
Yeah.
I saw a need to expand, so
Okay.
I came and rented a spot here. And
So first of all, what do you do? What's the business first of all?
so, well, now the entire business is a vintage shop and a plant shop. I started off here doing plants, but it's a vintage antique shop. It's like a collective. So we have plants, we have vintage items, antiques, and yeah, uh, just a lot of different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess what really inspired you to do this because. So first of all, before we get too deep in this, I originally met you. My wife and I met you when we came to build terrariums. Okay, we had heard about you from from my wife's coworker. So we came down and we built a terrarium, and you helped us along the way, and it was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
We still have those terrariums; they're doing great. But like, how did this? First of all, how did that terrarium side of things start? Why, or how did you get into plants originally?
So I've always liked nature and the outdoors and stuff and plants. But after I started here, I started doing, after I started as a vendor, I started doing workshops, and the workshops became fully booked. And then I was like, I need to expand. I need to have a place where people can do it. They can just, booking an appointment was kind of a later on thing. I was thinking people would walk up but whenever I started booking appointments, that's when it started doing really well. So, yeah, this back here was just like a junk haul, basically. I just fixed everything up, built it. I had like 2 weeks because I didn't have, I had 2 weeks until my next appointment. And, yeah, so I had 2 weeks to get it all done. And I just built this, and, well, y'all showed up.
Yeah.
Here at this second location. Yep.
Wow, that's super cool. So, have you always been into nature or plants, or has that always been a thing for you? When did that start, really?
Yes, it has been. I grew up like camping, and my parents were both into nature and stuff. My dad was a geologist. My mom was a nurse, but she really enjoyed like camping and plants, and we've always had a pond and animals, and like basically grew up on like a farm. But
that's really interesting.
Yeah.
So your dad was a geologist.
Yeah, he had a PhD in geology, actually.
And were you in Florida at that time?
Yeah, I grew up in Florida.
Okay. What part of Florida did you grow up in?
Winter Haven.
Winter Haven? Nice. So that must have been pretty incredible because I'm sure with your parents being super into nature, your dad having a PhD in geology, you've probably been around a lot of interesting greenery.
Yeah.
And I say interesting because there's so many plants out there that I've never even heard of. Especially like when you get into your fly traps and there's so many exotic things. What's kind of one of the more exotic ones that you've come across? Or what's a plant that I think that stands out to you?
My favorite, which are a little more finicky, are anthuriums. They just have, huge foliage, and I just like the way they look. Yeah, but they can be a little fussy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool, man. So I guess when did you know you wanted to have a business in this kind of thing? When did you know that, first, I want to start with the terrarium. When did you know that was kind of something you could really turn into revenue, for instance, but also something that people really enjoy? How did you even know that would work?
Well, at first I didn't know it would work. It was more like just trial and error, and I figured people would like something interactive and something they could be hands-on and creative at the same time. But I gave it a chance whenever I did my first workshop. Yeah, and then that first workshop, it was fully booked, and I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off. I didn't even know what I was doing. It was a lot of fun, though, and I was like, this is a thing. And I did another one, a walk-up one at an event we were having at the shop, and people loved it. I mean, you were here, so yeah, it's like it's a good time. It's fun for like a couple's date, But yeah, people left with smiles, and I was like, this is good.
Well, it helps because you can obviously see the passion behind what you do. It was no surprise when we came here and we like were working with you. It was automatically we felt it. Like you have the passion for this,
Yeah.
and that's the best part about it. Because if you don't have a passion, people can see that and they're not going to want to work with you. But
Yeah.
you have it, and it shines through. So it's so complex, like all the different pieces though back here. And
Yeah.
I guess when you initially had that first workshop or that second workshop, how did you kind of figure out what all you needed when it comes to the river rocks you use, or I don't know if the river rocks, but when it comes to the rocks, the soil, the moss, like how did you kind of fit that all together?
Well, the first workshop I had, I called it the winging it workshop.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
so I was just winging it, but not winging it. I knew that you needed the rocks for drainage, and I knew the basics of what you needed, and then from there I just grew and I just learned. I built my own, obviously. You just learn. But when I was younger, I would like put things together, even if I would find a piece of wood and attach plants to it, whatever it is. I'm pretty good with my hands, so I like to figure things out by being hands on, and it just became well, like you said, a passion.
For
Yeah.
sure,
Mhm.
absolutely. So I guess tell me a little bit about that though. What are the different pieces and the layers that make a terrarium work correctly?
So with the closed ones, like something like this, you need a drainage layer, which would be like you were saying, like river rock or gravel, and it works like a mini ecosystem, like how the earth works. Kind of think of this as the earth, and this is the layers of the earth, and the soil sits on top of it, and you don't want the water sitting or the soil sitting directly on the gravel. You want a place for the water to drain, so the soil's not sitting directly on water and you're not rotting the roots. But you initially, like a fully closed one like that, you water it completely, and well, of course, after you put the plants in and all the landscaping, like the dragonstone and the cork bark, and you water it and you just let it do it. It's like a mini ecosystem. So
Wow.
like literally like evaporates, and then it precipitates like rain. So it works like an ecosystem because it's enclosed. So the water will rise, and then the condensation builds up, and then it falls. So it's like a cycle. The closed ones, the open ones work a little differently, but
Okay.
yeah.
And then you also have, or I don't know if you still do. Do you still do the isopods?
I do.
They go in them?
Yeah, I mean, I sold a lot of them, and they've been popular, so I'm waiting for them to breed a little bit so
Okay.
I can, have enough to sell again. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's it's really incredible. What's some of the feedback that you get from people kind of on a regular basis when you have these classes?
Not to be biased, but people love it. People leave
Yeah.
with a smile. I remember making the video with y'all, and
Yeah.
you just look like you were just so proud of your terrarium when you were
Oh, yeah.
walking out, and it's just a good time. People are like, "This is so fun. This is
Yeah.
different." Like, there's painting with a twist. There's there's different interactive. There's not a lot of interactive things in Lakeland, but you are limited, and Lakeland's growing, but people just love that it's a fun date night. They can come hang out. They get to bring something home that's creative and just something that's different, because it's not just plant people that do it, and it's mostly, honestly, adults, young and old, and there are some kids, but yeah, people just have a good time doing it.
That's awesome, and I love how it gives people a thing to do that has, not saying it's bad, but has nothing to do with alcohol.
Yeah.
Honestly, because you can come here, not late at night, but a little later on in the evening,
Yeah.
and build a terrarium and just have like real fun without having anything else to worry about.
Yeah.
It's real fun. You're doing something with your hands, like you said. So that's what I really love about it. I think
Yeah.
it's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Now, fast forward a little bit. We have this antique shop here as well. And what's this place called?
Dixieland Relics.
Dixieland Relics.
Yep.
So how did Dixieland Relics get tied into this whole thing?
So Dixieland Relics has been here for about 12 or 13 years now. Do you want me to go like kind of how I started and how I got here?
Yeah,
and
absolutely. I
lead
think that'd
into
be
that?
cool. Yeah.
So I've done a lot of construction work. I've done groundwater drilling, landscaping, just plain construction. And then I was also manager at Chipotle, which was not great. I got fed up with that place, and I left. I couldn't handle it anymore. I had a little bit of a savings account, some money saved up, and I went and traveled across the country. I took out the back seats of my car, built a bed, and me and my girlfriend at the time, we just traveled the country for 6 weeks. Yeah.
So, a little van life experience.
Yeah,
Was it a van?
I did.
What kind of car was it?
It was a Hyundai, actually.
A Hyundai?
But now
Okay.
I have a van, and I've done it on the East Coast with the van.
That's awesome.
But,
That's
yeah.
goals right there for me. I love that.
Yeah, it's a blast, and I just felt free, and I loved it, but I ran out of money.
Okay.
So I had plants that I had, and I needed to make some money again. I left my job, so I'm like, well, dang, what do I do now? So yeah, I just asked Karen at the time, was the owner, and I asked her if I could rent out some space and negotiated with her. And yeah, I started selling plants here. It took off, and it just kept growing. And then I rented a space to do vintage and antique items as well. So I was doing the plants, and then I rented a booth to do the vintage items, and that took off, and I just kept growing.
Wow.
And then I could like see myself here. I like envisioned me owning this place. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like it was like a part of my everyday like doing here. You know, like it was part of my being. Like just I'm gonna own this. Like I want to like be here. I want to do this, and eventually I did. And then my girlfriend at the time, she was actually really helpful. She was encouraging. She helped with the decorating and stuff. We had a booth together, and she was just a good teammate. We were a good team together.
Absolutely, yeah.
But yeah, so it just kept growing. So I eventually talked to Karen because I figured she wouldn't want to keep it forever, and I was like, hey, I want to buy this place. I want to take it over. And she wanted it to go to the right person, someone who was actually going to take it seriously. And obviously I was, because I was dedicated to it. I was here day and night. It was like my life. I mean, it still is my life. It's like my baby, something that I'm trying to raise and grow up.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it shows. And, you know, I'm making a lot of improvements and like changing things up and making it exciting. Like this terrarium bar was a nice addition.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And how long had this been Dixieland Relics in Lakeland for before you took over?
About 12 years, about 11 or 12 years before I took over. Yeah.
Okay, 11 or 12 years. So now that now you're the owner of this place. So kind of what is your plan right now?
So there's just, I just finished the section back here, but just to fix some things up, make it feel a little more, give it some life, you know.
Yeah.
Not that it didn't. Karen did a great job. But just a lot of people are moving to Lakeland, and a lot of younger people are moving to Lakeland, and I wanted to give it a new feel to it. Kind of what, like those younger people are buying houses and stuff, and I wanted to make it focused for those that demographic, you know.
For sure.
And I just obviously adding this, adding the little camper out there out front. People love that. It pulls people off the road. Call it the pot shop. It's where you can buy the planters for plants, but people take photographs in front of it all the time.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's really cool. Yeah. So, I mean, Lakeland's a great place, right? I think Lakeland's a good place as far as people who wanted, you know, kind of buy a house, kind of be in with the community. I guess start a family. I don't know anything about starting a family. No kids here,
Me
but
neither.
I hear that's what they say about Lakeland.
Yeah.
But how does it feel to be here in Lakeland? You're basically in the heart of downtown. How does that feel to you?
It feels good because I grew up in Winter Haven, basically Arbondale area, so there wasn't a lot to do, and I always thought it would be cool to live in Lakeland, and of course, I thought Tampa and Orlando would be cool too.
Yeah.
But I've lived in Orlando a little bit, and it's a little too much for me, too busy. But I like the feel of Lakeland. I really just like the feel of it. It's becoming more artsy and like small business focused. Like you're reaching out, like the community is just wanting to focus on like the creators and the artistic people and just innovative and driven people of the community, and I really appreciate that about Lakeland.
Absolutely. I mean, it's what helps a community thrive. You stay stagnant otherwise. We have to, and that's why I love things like this, like you, younger entrepreneurs that are coming out and just doing things and making the place what they want it to be for the most part. And even I came in here a few weeks ago, and there really is a lot of younger people that come through here. You guys have a pretty awesome clothes selection as well too. Yeah. I was I guess, I don't know, surprised, but I was surprised because I found some stuff that I really want.
Yeah, so. I've already bought a few things because there's different vendors there. Yeah. I forgot to mention the clothes section, but there are, and people think antique and plants. I even had on Facebook when I first started posting. They're like, okay, if there's ever a silver alert, we know where to find our grandparents. And I'm like, well, actually, you'd be surprised. There's a lot of young people, and there's a lot of young people. You think antiques and plants, but there's a young crowd that are really appreciating the aesthetics of what our shop can offer. Yeah,
absolutely. What's your favorite part about this shop?
The creative canvas, the creative freedom that I have. I can just come up with an idea. If I'm not too distracted with other things, I can make it happen, and I like that. It's my canvas. I can do it because I've always worked for someone else, and this is the best job I've ever had. I mean, I just love that I can come up with something and go after it.
Absolutely. And that's kind of a question I wanted to go into is people like you and people like me. I'm an entrepreneur myself, and I before I dreamed about it, really, like what it would be like to call something my own and to kind of build it and to grow it. And I always like to ask other entrepreneurs that same question, from when you were a kid or when you first thought about even owning a business was a possibility. How does that feel now to be in the place you are?
It actually feels, at first it felt unreal because both of my parents went to college, and I was in college before I started this, and then just took off, and I am on break for college right now. I didn't finish college, but just started taking off. But this, I had a drive for this. It just felt better than anything I've done before. And I wasn't always sure if I'd be a business owner, but there's just some things where it just makes sense for me to be a small business owner. But it felt good. It felt like this was it. I felt confident this was the direction I needed to go, the path I needed to take. Without a doubt in my mind.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So I guess if we're looking towards the future, what does the next 5 years look like for you?
Well, I would like, obviously, for this to keep growing. I would like to make this place a place where people hang out in the evening too, or in the morning. It'd be cool to have a little coffee shop out there. So I have a barbecue guy. He's great. That sets up, and I just love that people can come eat here on some Saturdays of the month, and I would like to see that. I don't know exactly what this means, but I would like to be a staple of Lakeland, where Dixieland Relics was, people know about it, but just a place where people are like, you should go there. It's great. I'm sure you've talked about it to other people.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, we just told somebody about this place and to come here and get a terrarium built as well as check out the shops. So, but go ahead. What were you saying?
It advertises itself, people are like, oh, that's cool. And then you can't not say where you built that or whatever if they think it's cool. And like I said, you don't even have to be a plant person to think it's a neat thing. yeah, so people are like, that is really cool. Yeah,
Really cool, man.
yeah.
So, as someone that's really into plants, as someone that has a passion for plants, give us a tip, okay? I'm trying to start a garden. You know, I've had a couple successful ones in the past, but the food's not looking too hot this year. So,
Yeah.
give me some tips, man. I think people want that as well too.
That to learn from your mistakes, because
Yeah.
certain plants I'm like, don't get it right, and I'm by far an expert, but you just keep trying. The ones that failed, you just keep trying until you get
Yeah.
it right, and eventually you just like figure out the little things that it needs: the moisture, the sunlight. I mean, just the differences between north and south facing, west and east facing. You know, like
Yeah.
those little factors come into play whenever
Mhm.
when it comes to plants. So just don't give up and keep trying even when you fail. And I think that's
Yeah.
a good thing to follow in life in general. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I love it. So usually towards the end of any of these talks or anything that I do with people, I love to kind of give an open-ended question just for you. You know, if you have time now, what is something you'd like to say to Lakeland, to people? It could be about your shop. It could be about you. It could be about whatever. You know, I don't
Yeah.
want to point it too much, but what's one thing you'd like to say to people out there that are going to watch this?
Um, I think at least the main thing for me, and what I think most people could follow, is to have like a purpose in life or in the short future, next 5 years, and like kind of really just envision yourself being there, and just, and your mind and body will follow. And if you're dedicated and doing all the right things and taking all the right steps, and things will fall in place. But I really think it's what helped me is like seeing myself and almost like as if I was already there, but having that vision and just knowing you're there and this is what's going to happen, and believe it with all your being, and just have confidence. And I think that is the main thing that helped me.
Dude, I love
Yeah.
that. That's
Yeah.
great advice, man.
Yeah.
Especially as we kind of, I feel like the world just turns more and more every day into a place where more people are trying to be their own boss. They're trying to find that quote unquote financial freedom and kind of be the best they can be, you know, whether that be. And I'm not someone who thinks that, you know, being the best you can be means you work for yourself by any means.
Right.
But it's whatever you do. Like you said, just work hard and
Yeah.
be confident in yourself.
Yeah.
It definitely helps. Man, I really appreciate it, dude. This
Yeah.
has been really cool.
Yeah.
Was there anything that you think I missed that you want to talk about?
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, we touched a lot on the plants, but yeah, we have the vintage and mid-century modern items inside. It's just a fun shop to be around in general.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, we can do that real quick. I'll splice this in. Talk about some of the big items in there that you like to tell people that are in here.
So me, I've been wanting to get some more mid-century items in the shop, and I just like the way it's designed, and I think incorporating plants with whatever decor, you know, it could be Victorian or whatever it is, to incorporate that. I think plants in any era can be a good incorporation, and it just feels good to have a space that's your own, and that feels good when you get off of work. I'm sure you work a lot, and it just feels good to go home and have a place that you can sit down that just feels good, and you're just like, I like this, you know.
Plants definitely do that.
Yeah.
That's something my wife and I need to work on, is having more plants all throughout the house, because it definitely helps the mood, the feeling, and it uplifts the spirit for sure.
Yeah.
So are you, I mean, it seems like you are. Are you someone that is able to like really stylize a space and kind of make things look good?
I think so. I mean, other people have said that I've done a good job too, but yeah, I think so. I think I have the eye for things. Yeah.
Okay. What's kind of your go-to setup? You know, let's talk about mid-century modern styling. What do you think looks good if someone was to set up like their perfect living space?
I mean, I guess it varies with what I'm working with, but maybe not something that's perfectly symmetrical. You know, like it's hard to say, because it depends on with it depends on what you're working with.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, whenever we're done, we can take a walk
Yeah.
around the shop and
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah. I'm just the kind of person that like kind of just goes with the flow and works with what I have, and yeah, it comes together. I have an eye for where things should be set up and what they should look like. So I think I have an eye. Other people might disagree, but I think I
For sure. I mean, the shop looks really cool, so I'd say
you.
so.
Yeah.
And then why do you like antiques overall, actually?
Well, first of all, older furniture and decor was just made better. Yeah, the IKEA stuff is no good. You have to put it together yourself anyways. But there was just a little more like detail to these things. They took a little more pride. It was it's just overall made better, and I just like the way it looks and the way it's made.
Absolutely. Dude, well, I think that's about everything, man.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it, dude.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. And if you could tell people exactly how to find this place, what they should type in on Google, where how do they get in touch with you? How do they come to Dixieland Relics?
So you have to pass it if you're in Lakeland. It's right off South Florida Avenue. You'll see the vintage camper out front. It's a 1953 camper. It's 949 South Florida Avenue, Lakeland. Yeah, and you'll see a gorilla. Right now, you'll see a gorilla and a flamingo out there just greeting you. So, yeah, I mean, you've passed it before if you lived in Lakeland. So
there we go. Any social media or website, anything like that?
Yes. So the shop, the Dixieland Relics itself is Dixieland Relics for Facebook and Instagram, and the same for for the plants is backyardgarden.austin, and that's for Instagram and Facebook too. But to book a terrarium appointment, it's therusticjungle.com.
Okay.
And you just choose the time and date that you want and come and build and have a good time.
There you go, guys. Definitely check out Dixieland Relics. Definitely build a terrarium whenever you have time to do so. It's something you will not forget, and it's literally everlasting memories. Well, as long as your terrarium stays green, I guess. But take care of it, okay? But yeah, come check out this place. Austin, you're an awesome dude. I really appreciate you, man. And I'm super happy that you are another awesome business owner in Lakeland who's doing something truly good for the community.
Yeah.
Really. So
Well, thank you, man. It was a pleasure, yeah.
absolutely. Thanks a lot, man.
All right.